I'm a former fashion designer. I worked in the fashion industry for over 15 years. And you know what? I felt like it was my purpose when I entered in the fashion industry.
No, they're dressed. Like, how would you dress them differently? Or
Yeah.
I know
Just
each
depends on
person,
yeah.
has a different shape and so forth and so on.
Every time I see that hair, I love it. My mom's hair. It's so cool.
You do?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Mother-daughter dynamic duo.
And we're back, and we can't wait to bring on our guest tonight. But before we do, I guess we should introduce
I
ourselves.
think that's
You
a great
so?
idea. Who are you?
I am Coach Rochelle, and I'm relationship coach, a mental wellness coach for over 27 years. And, again, we were talking today again about love. And it's just such a beautiful thing if you can really take that love within your heart and really give everything to yourself. And don't wait out there for anybody to give it to you. If they give it to you, that's good. If they don't, you know what
gotta
to
give
do.
it to
You just go
yourself.
on to someone else. Anyhow, we want to thank some of our sponsors, the International Wellness Alliance, and that's Elaine Sugar, who's the CEO and the founder. And you can say the
Mick
next if you want.
Factor. He is Mick Factor, Mick Unplugged, and our amazing social media team, Prex Agency, Waggis, and team.
And also to subscribe
Right.
to our YouTube channel.
So you like, you subscribe. Cha-ching, ding,
We'd
ding.
like that. And then, of course, we do a discovery call. Just DM us, and we're gonna.
It's all about bringing the light in.
Yeah.
2025, turning it up,
Yes.
turning it on, turning your passion. Really supporting
And
everybody
you're bringing
in the new
your
year.
passion into purpose.
That's right.
And we're excited about the next year, right?
Yes. So before we introduce our amazing guests,
okay, it's
Mom,
time.
you turn to read.
It's time to read this book. I love it. It's called Journey to the Heart. And since that's what I'm all about, and this just sets such a good foundation to start with. And it says, love means each person is free to follow his or her own heart. Seek his or her own path. Got my tongue twisted. And if you truly love our choices, we naturally and freely serve that love well. And when we give freedom to another, we really give freedom to ourselves. And is that the truth?
Beautifully said, Roche.
Yes, it is. It's the heart, it's the love.
Roche.
And so.
It's all about love. It's all about the heart. And really, we're coming to a close soon with the new year. So we want to bring in 2025 with a bang. And by the way, if you're into astrology, 2025, if you add it up, it's a 9. Wow.
And
9 is
new beginnings.
Yeah. So that's where we're going. So join the train, the love train. Okay, so let's bring our special guest. She's an amazing woman. We met a little bit while back, and we just love her. Tavia. We're going to bring Tavia. There you are.
Hey, how are you?
Yay.
I'm wonderful. Yeah, it's good to be here with you both.
It's so nice to have you. It really is. And you have such, I found out a little bit more about you today, but because we were on something together. But why don't you tell our people, like, who are you? What are you doing in this big world? And I know you're up to some big things. I'm impressed with that. I really am.
Definitely, yeah. Because we
Thank
have
you.
a little bit of an idea of what you're up to. Why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you're about and where you're going this coming year?
Yes. Well, I'm a former fashion designer. I worked in the fashion industry for over 15 years. And you know what? I felt like it was my purpose when I entered in the fashion industry, and then when I was in it, I realized how quickly it turned into what I didn't think it would be, right? It was always my passion, and once I
Mm.
started working in the industry and kind of seeing, behind the scenes of everything that goes on, and everything's an emergency, and I just burnt myself out. I mean, I really burnt out, and I started to do some personal development and really introspective into like, why am I here and what is my purpose and what is this all about? Right, because this can't be it. And yeah, it's true. And then that's
Yeah.
when I really discovered my calling and my gift, because I was the person that everybody went to at the office for like coaching and guidance, and I'm just one of those people that would really calm people and make
Yeah.
them feel heard. And
Mhm.
so I said, I got to merge these two things, like my passion and what I've always, dreamed of becoming, moving to New York City, working in fashion, and then this whole, like I can help people, right? I have a
Mm.
gift. I how do I take these two things and make them, what I do? And so that's when I really started to go down that path of like, what could I make a business, And that's where it became like I help people. I help people feel confident. And I do that through helping with their outer expression.
Mm.
So the way they dress and express themselves, when you look good, you feel good. And so, there is a natural thing that happens when we start to show up in a powerful way. It impacts how we feel on the inside. And that's where I said, oh my gosh, the light bulb went off. And once I started helping people with that, it was like, this is
That's
it. This is my
amazing.
gift. This is my calling. So this is what I do. And really helping people stand out, and just like be that bright light in the world so they can be magnetic and they can attract
Mm.
everything that they want to in life, whether that's in their love life or their personal life, their business. So that's what I do.
Wow. And do you work with people in the corporate world? Yeah, mostly,
Yeah.
you would say?
No, actually, it's 50-50. I love helping entrepreneurs, people who are impact driven, like myself, who have a service. They are the face of their brand, and they have a gift to share, and maybe they're not getting recognized like they should be. I love helping people stand out and shine in that way, and then I love helping executives too, because
Mhm.
I want them to be successful and go places and get promoted and find love, right? Because they're hardworking, but they still deserve to have, relationships and love in
Totally.
their life. So I really help both. It's and in men and women as well, both. Hmm.
Is there a distinction between the entrepreneurs and, I guess, corporate? Is there a different in
The way
what you
their
want?
energy is?
No, they're
Or,
dressed. Like, how
oh,
would you dress them differently? Or
Yeah.
I know
it just
each
depends on
person,
the, yeah.
has a different shape and so forth and so on.
Yeah. I mean, whether they work in corporate or they are an entrepreneur, my process in the beginning is always the same, which is you are your own individual person and your style should reflect that.
Mm.
The way we dress and express ourselves is an extension of who we are. And so that first part's always the same, right? Like I'm really getting to know somebody on a deeper level, asking a lot of questions, and we're going deep sometimes. Like people are like, "Wow, oh, okay, I didn't think you're going to ask that," right? Because they think it's just, "Oh,
Right,
well,
your
what do you
clothes.
like?
Yeah.
What fits you
Right.
well? What brands do you shop?"
What
Of course, first
colors do you
question,
like?
what
Right.
colors, right? But when we start going deeper, they're like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." But it so matters, because we don't realize how much our clothes are a part of who we are. And so, no matter what, that beginning part is the same. And then I really am guiding them at that point to really express themselves in an authentic way. But if they are an entrepreneur, it's about their brand, right? It's like,
Mhm.
okay, you're the face of your brand. So how are we matching everything that your brand is saying about you, the energy of your brand, the vibe, the way you show up online, right? All that makes a difference. The way you're styled in your photograph for your website, all that.
Yeah.
If it's a corporate client, it's more like, well, how are we going to dress you so that you have that executive presence, that you have, like, when you walk in the room, that people are noticing, oh wow, this person's in charge, I'm going to listen to them, right? You're
Mhm.
building credibility, right? You are someone that people pay attention to. And
Mm,
also for the industry you work in, because that makes a difference too. If I have a client who works as an engineer, isn't going to dress the same as somebody who
Correct.
is working in finance. It's just
Right.
facts, right? Our industries matter. So it depends on that as well. But that's basically the difference.
And you take them
Hmm.
shopping too, or
Yes.
oh, you
Yes.
do.
They do have a VIP day with me in New York City, and I curate the day for them. So all the pre-work, ahead of time, I create like a blueprint, a guide, colors, styles, their capsule wardrobe.
Wow.
What are we going to buy to fit your look? What do you
Mhm.
need, right? We do all that ahead of time. I look at their wardrobe as well, their closet. Then I plan the VIP day in New York City. So a lot of times people fly into New York City to spend that day with me, if they're not local. And then
Right.
I plan the whole day. It's a true
Wow. So
experience.
fun.
That should
It's
be
so
fun.
fun. It's so
Yeah.
fun, and people love it. And they get treated like a VIP, and they really enjoy it because it's an experience. And a lot of times people right there have that, like, that shift. It's like the transformation
Mhm.
happens instantaneous, and they're like, wow, I didn't think I could look like this. Looking at themselves in
Yeah,
the mirror, they're like, who is this? And they
I
feels good,
do.
right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's funny because when we were doing our pictures recently, I don't know how long ago, but we had a photographer that my mom's known for so many years. And I dressed in this, whatever it was, I don't remember. But when she started taking the pictures, I'm like, wow, you start to see
It's a
yourself in a
different.
different light, like I never saw myself
Absolutely.
before, which is a transformation because when you don't see
True.
yourself the way you think you look, and then you see a picture of that right
Hmm.
away, you're like, wow,
It's
that's really
powerful.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yes.
So
is.
I can understand what you're saying for sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yes.
What were you going to say?
So I wanted to ask you, what do you think had been your biggest lesson that you learned about yourself?
Mm. Oh my gosh. So many things, but um just like owning my power, owning who I am, owning my worth as well, especially when I became an entrepreneur full time, charging my value, saying,
Yes.
I am worth it. I mean, sometimes it's like I look back and I think about, I have like over 25 years of experience,
Right. I
right? And
know. And
it's,
then how could you not give that even credos to charge what you're
yeah.
worth, right? It's amazing. Yeah.
And sometimes, it's hard because, those old stories or,
Yes. Yep.
patterns or things,
Yep.
from childhood or, just, when I was a kid, I didn't find that I was like the most confident person. I wasn't the most confident person. Even when I moved to New York City, I was pretty shy before I moved to New York City. And I really turn that around because you kind of have to in order to be in New York City and survive, right? You have
Oh,
to
yeah.
be more
Yep.
confident and own it. And, I mean, look, I worked in some pretty big companies in the fashion industry. So, even to get that far, it was like it's very competitive. So not a lot of people get to the places that they want to in the fashion industry because there's only so many jobs,
That's
and
true.
it's
Yep.
really competitive. And even then I felt like I was like this little person,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
everybody's competing and it's like they all look so amazing and you're judging yourself. And so become an entrepreneur and really own my, like, what I do and my skill set and my expertise, and then to charge that. I mean, that was
Mhm.
my biggest
Yep.
Yeah. We
thing to
understand.
We
overcome.
totally understand. It's true.
Hmm. Oh
And
yeah.
even still, do you find yourself sometimes falling into
Wavering?
that old
The
pattern
Oh
of
yeah.
that
wavering.
negative? How could you still try? How could you? What? And then you're like, wait a minute, hello, who am I? Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, entrepreneur, I think, it is the biggest personal development of my life, like, becoming an entrepreneur, I think it's
Yeah.
the constant, whoo, it's the
Yeah,
highs.
it
And
is. It's the
we're always
ride.
learning something, like the next thing. Because, I mean, I was talking earlier about like, where do I see myself now going into this like next decade of what I'm
Mhm.
doing, right? And that to me it feels good, but also like, oh, I should push myself for bigger things. Why would I stay small or like continue to kind of float? No, what's the next
What's
big
next?
mountain climb, right? So that feels like scary, but
Yeah,
also like exciting, at the same
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
I like that, what you shared. So I understand. I sat back and said, wow, that's really good. Maybe I'll charge that too. It's something your
Yes.
mind starts to really, because you think even though they're uh, different
Different fields,
fields, but
right?
still,
Excuse me.
your
Yes.
worthiness is so attached to this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is, because when somebody buys from you,
Yep.
it's like them saying, "Oh my gosh, I believe in you.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like
Unworthy.
this thing, I'm worthy," right? I know. I mean, it really is. I keep thinking about that, because when people don't buy from us, right, when our
Yep.
sales
Yes.
don't go, it's like, we're like, what are we doing wrong? Or,
Yeah. Or
and it's
you
hard
doubt,
not to
or
get
you charge
doubt
less. And
yourself,
then
Right.
or
you're
you
like, what am I
yes.
thinking? I'm doing all
What am
this
I
work.
thinking?
Yep.
Hello, and we got to try different things sometimes, because the market changes and all
Always.
Yes.
that, but
Always.
especially what I do, because sometimes, people don't value like what I
Right.
do
Trust me, we
the
understand.
same.
Yeah.
So, I have to go with the flow sometimes, but
Of
no,
course.
we have to keep going and keep trusting, keep owning and doing that inner work. The inner work is
Yeah.
Yeah.
very important. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
It certainly is.
So my question is, it's a good one. What was because it's kind of in alignment with this, but what was your biggest struggle in your life, and how did you overcome it?
Um, I
It's
mean,
the first thing that comes to
yeah, I think what comes to mind is like this, uh, like, I think just that feeling of, I am worthy of love. I am
mind.
worthy of the type of partner I want in my life. I think I always struggled with my personal relationships. I was always like a go getter, career oriented, knew I was going to come to New York, got here, got the job, fell
Mm,
into the fashion industry. Like I always hustled, and made all that happen. But I always
mm,
struggled with my personal life.
mm.
Not finding the right partner was
Yeah.
very challenging for me. And I did do a lot of just inner work and also personal development stuff, and really taking a look at that, going deep and wondering like, what's this about? Like,
Mhm.
why am I struggling with this? And so, I think it was just really, like, again, owning it. You have to love yourself first. You have to really love yourself first. Don't look outside
Yeah.
for it. You have to own your own worth, your own value, love yourself. And when you do, that light shines bright, and you just become that magnet that people want to be around, right? I think that was it,
Yeah.
because once I figured that out, it
I
just,
think it's also becoming your own best friend. It's really
yes,
becoming, what would you want your, with looking and saying, well, if I become my own best friend, what is it that I need to do to have that occur?
And even
yes,
talking to yourself
And
as your own best friend. You wake up
absolutely.
in the morning, hi, honey, would you like some tea? You know, just,
yes,
I think that's just cute. It's like that. How would you talk to your best friend? You are your best friend.
absolutely. You
Yeah,
are your best friend. You are the only person that you have to live with the rest of your life. I
that's
mean, that's
right.
guaranteed, right? And I think, don't be afraid to take yourself out on solo dates or travel
Yep.
solo. I mean, just traveling alone is one of the most uncomfortable, confronting things
I
ever.
would think, yes, I
I
would
mean,
think so.
woo, it is so, but now that I've done it, I'm way comfortable with it. And not that long ago, before the pandemic, it was 2019, I ended a very long relationship. It was about 7-year relationship. And I ended up having this opportunity to go to Singapore to do like a certification. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to Bali again because I had been there many years before.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it was so close. It was easy. And I said, I'm going to do my solo trip. I'm going to do my Eat, Pray, Love trip and
Oh, I
rediscover
love it.
myself.
I love it.
And I did. And to travel alone like that,
Yeah.
it is not easy, but it was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What was your biggest takeaway that when you did do that?
Mm, I
Sure,
think
there are
it was
many.
just like, that, just like the world is so big and
Mm,
we can meet people anywhere and we can survive. We're strong. And there's like we don't have to rely on other people to make us happy. Like I
mm.
had the best time by myself and I had to get comfortable being alone. I had traveled alone a few times before, but this was a big one. And I just had to get comfortable with myself. And
Yeah,
sometimes it really is uncomfortable to be
Yes.
alone.
absolutely. Because you're with yourself. You're
There
in a
are,
trip and you're
yeah.
talking to yourself. You're with yourself. There's
Yes. There's
nobody
nobody to
there.
talk to.
And
It's
it's
like
a
it's
great
so weird.
exercise to
It
really
is
go
weird.
outside that uncomfortability.
Yeah.
And, and I mean, I can do that a little bit more these days and just say, hey, how are you? My name is Rochelle. What's your name?
Right.
Start doing things like that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and I
Absolutely.
remember moving to California. That was like at 22, and I didn't know anyone but my mentor at the time. And that was like a jump because I was scared, but I was excited, and I knew things were going to open up that I had no clue. And boy, was that the truth, the best. And so I understand when you don't know anyone, you're with yourself.
Yep.
You're
Yeah,
walking on the beach, and you're like, it's an adventure almost because
it
you have
was.
no clue.
You have no clue. And then I did end up meeting because I always meet people. But I was sitting at my hotel like bar because I said, let me just go out,
Right.
and grab a cocktail. I forget. I think I was getting a drink. And at the bar next to me was this woman and she was fabulous. And I said, hey, and we just started chatting. And I was like, well, where are you? She's like, I'm traveling alone. And I
That's
said, well, me too. And I said, where do you live? And she's like, New York. And I said,
no
New
way.
York.
Love it.
You can't make these things up,
No,
right?
you
You
can't.
cannot make it up. You cannot.
I
It's
know. It was
amazing.
great. Yeah, we still friends. We still chat. Yeah, she
Isn't that
That's
great?
in Brooklyn. Yes.
There are no accidents.
no, none.
No.
There are no
And
accidents
I
at all.
think that when you go with the divine, meaning whatever you want to call it, divine, whatever spirit, when you trust that intuition that you want to go somewhere or you want to do something, don't wait for anybody. Go.
Yeah.
It's magical, even though it's
Yes.
scary.
Agreed. You only have one life. Don't wait for other people. You have to just go and take action. Go do things. So see the world. You do not know. Nobody is guaranteed the next day. Nobody.
Nope.
That
No.
is true.
So here's another great question for you.
So, if you were going to give someone the best advice in life, what would it be?
To give someone else the best advice?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Um, well, definitely it would be to travel because I feel like your eyes will open up for sure. I have been lucky. I've been to over 40 countries, so actually 43 and counting.
Amazing.
Um, and I remember the first time I went out of the country was I had this opportunity when I was 18 years old because I was a senior in high school and I was taking French, and my French class teacher said, I know how much you want to go to France, do you want to take advantage of, going on this trip? Because it was like a lot of students I didn't know because it was like juniors and seniors combined.
Uh-huh.
And I said, you know what? Like I asked my parents, I said, I got to go on this trip. I got to go. And it was the best decision I ever made
Mm.
because it was the whole reason that I fell in love with travel. I got to go to France and Switzerland and I was hooked right away and I never looked back. I have been every time I had off, I worked, again, in the fashion industry, we don't get days off very much.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
sure.
It is always working. I
Yeah.
would travel, go to a new place, go to a new country. I was lucky to travel a lot with my jobs as well. They sent us to Asia and places like that.
Awesome.
But I traveled and traveled, and I've been to some
Goodness.
super cool places that, I don't know if I'll go again, I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Totally. Yep.
That
That
is
one
yeah.
true.
piece. That's awesome.
See the
So
world. You'll learn so much.
Yeah,
You'll
you
learn so
do.
much about
Do.
people and cultures, and that we're all human. We're all human. It
yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't
so
matter our
true.
differences.
It
Yes,
really
we'll
doesn't.
learn to respect people a lot more. I think, given the climate and everything going on, I think
Yes.
more
Yep.
people that in a
Travel.
place.
Yeah.
Yes, travel,
Yeah.
travel.
Well, and
Mhm.
it's true because we've traveled a lot too, and internationally,
Hmm.
and everyone's really the same. I mean, just different culture, and it's exciting because you see the way other
Yeah, you
people
see how
live,
they live.
and maybe you go, "Wow, I like the way the Italians live."
Right.
Yes,
Maybe I should
yes,
take that on, or you know what I mean?
yes.
So it is
True.
so true to do that and not be
Mm,
afraid. I know people that
yeah,
never ever left
Never.
Florida. Like
I know.
in the
It's
boat. Go
amazing.
do it. And it doesn't take a lot.
I
Anytime we've
know.
ever wanted to do it,
We
we've
did.
always had the means to do it.
You got to
It
do it.
always
It's worth
happens.
it. It's
Always.
worth it.
We
I've
agree.
never regretted,
Nope.
spending money on a trip because it changes things, and you'll come back and you will appreciate what you have
Oh
so
my
much
God,
more. When you
so
go to
true.
places that don't have anything, like I've been to some
Yes.
places, third world countries that do not have
Mhm.
Yep,
anything. A dollar means everything to them.
everything.
You will come back a changed person because you're like, wow, I'm not going to complain about that.
That's
Yeah.
Exactly.
so, yeah, it is. It's true.
So true.
It is.
So, what advice would you give to your youngest self
Oh,
today?
I would say stop stressing and stop worrying. Just stop. Just go live your life and enjoy the ride. Like, you do not need stop rushing. Stop trying to have
Wow.
all the answers. Like, just enjoy it. It will all work out. It will. Like, you don't need to be on everybody else's timeline. Don't compare yourself to other people and what's happening over there. The amount I felt anxious about, all
Mm,
these things and comparing myself, not worth it.
no, it really
It
Mm-mm.
isn't.
isn't.
Because you get to see nobody really is judging you or caring. It's you that's doing
Yes,
it and
exactly,
spending
so
all that
true.
time.
And I think
Waste of time.
and
Yeah,
I think as individuals, we are given those gifts. Not everybody has our gifts.
that's right.
And so, like everybody doesn't have our handprints. So, or our fingerprints, anyhow. So, yeah,
Exactly.
it's just, I can fall into that, and I've
Yeah.
done that, and it
Hmm.
just gets you absolutely nowhere except frustrated
Right.
and
The
crying.
loop, the
And
loop.
crying.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
it's
crying for what?
waste.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Hmm.
is.
Hmm.
So, what book
Oh,
inspired you
yeah.
so much that it changed your life for the better? What book
For
was
Ooh,
the
it? Or has there been a book, I should say?
yes. I mean, there's so many
I'm
books, but
sure.
I one that I always recommend to people too is The Big Leap
The
by
big
Gay
leap.
Hendricks.
Oh, I
Hmm.
know.
Okay,
Yeah, Gay
yes.
Hendricks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So The Big Leap, it's really about confronting your upper limits. And I would say it's one of the first books maybe besides The Alchemist, but like really thinking about doing that introspective on yourself, like thinking about like
Mhm.
just starting to think, like why and being more inquisitive, like what's stopping you, in
Right.
life. Why am I not taking certain risks? Because I did wait a long time to take a leap and become a full-time entrepreneur. And so that book really changed things for me, changed perspective. So it's a great book. I always recommend to people. Hmm.
That's great. Yeah, yeah.
So,
Hmm.
what? I think I may know one of them.
Right. I know you kind of told
Yeah,
us,
you
but
did, but I'll
we'll
ask it
see.
any. What activities in your life light you up and bring joy to your heart?
Oh my gosh, so many activities, but especially dancing. I love dance.
Oh, I
Listening
want
to
to find
music,
someone
dance.
that
Yes.
does, what is it? Contemporary. And I haven't found
Oh.
anyone here in Florida. I've always wanted to do contemporary
Oh.
dance. But that
Yeah,
really,
that's
yeah.
That's a hard one. I mean, New York, we get everything.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
yeah, we get everything.
Mecca.
But I
Yeah.
love taking dance classes. I love just I'm a people person, so I love like meeting people and going to events where there's other people and I'm connecting. And I also just love like doing these solo dates with myself. Like I'll pick a day, maybe a Friday afternoon, and I'll just go and do things by myself. Go find something
Right.
fun to do, explore New
Mhm.
York City, and it's fun for me. I enjoy finding new things to do. So that's like something I love, and of course, I love travel. I mean, I already talked about that.
So you're an explorer.
Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
can say. Yeah.
adventure, explorer for sure. Yes, I love it.
That's
And there's no fear as you go down any of the streets in Manhattan. You
No,
feel safe.
I do. You do have to be a little more alert nowadays. We have some things, just
yeah.
post COVID.
Like everywhere.
Definitely different energy in that sense, but, no, I feel comfortable though, I'm very, like, pay
Yeah.
You're
attention,
very
You're
but
aware of
yeah.
your surroundings.
very aware of my
Yeah.
surroundings.
Yeah.
I don't walk with a headset on or anything because I just,
That's
like, wanna
good.
hear what's going on. I
Yeah.
just wanna
That's a
yeah.
very smart choice. Very
Some
good.
people do not.
I
Oh, now they
know.
Mostly
do.
I see it
mostly
here too. They're
Yep.
yeah, they
riding, they're
don't.
walking with their
Mhm.
headset, or they're
Or
riding
riding
a
a bike.
bike. How are you going to hear a car?
I don't get it, but yeah, to me that I don't like that feeling. I
Yeah,
want to hear and know what's happening.
Yep.
So I do not
absolutely.
listen to my headset like that. I like to just walk and pay attention and
Good.
yeah, there's always things going on in the city and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and so I started doing also like these tours um bringing women together and I'm taking them like to different neighborhoods and we look at fashion, we go
That's
shopping
That's so
awesome.
and
great.
they're like connecting and so it's kind of like networking but also
Yeah.
like it's fashion oriented so it's kind of like a spin on connecting
That's
with other women
great.
that are like-minded. Yeah, so it's been fun and they're really enjoying it. So I'm going to be
That's
doing
great.
one for the holidays as well.
That's
And where do
awesome.
you get these women? Is it people that you know or you?
People that I know or that find me on social media that I'm
Sure.
connected to. Yep, yeah, or referrals.
That's
That.
great.
Super. What a
hmm
great idea.
Yeah, well, New
What
York
a
City
Yes.
great
can
idea.
do
And
it.
Manhattan, of
Yeah,
all
I know.
places.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so I'm going to ask you the last question for the evening, and it's a good one. So let's see what you come up with.
Buckle up.
Because it's a big question. If
Okay.
you were able to change the world as it is today, what changes would you make and why?
Yeah. I think it's really that there's just too much going on. There's just too much going on, and there's too much chaos, and there's too much of this, and we need to really. It comes back to love. I really
Yeah,
truly believe that. I think that if we all got grounded in that, it would change the world.
Yeah.
And there's this movie. I think it's called Buka, and I watched it. It's about
Buka?
this.
What
I
is it
think it's
called?
Buka. I think
Buka.
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 It's this
Buka.
town in Ukraine, and it's based on a true story. And basically, it's about a man who's not Ukrainian, but he had fled basically to Ukraine. And when the war happened, the government said, "Hey, we gave you asylum here. You're going to help us get some people out and rescue them." And so he rescued one family, and he said, "Okay, I'll just rescue this family, and I'm done. I don't want anything to do with it." But then after he rescued the family, all of a sudden, like he just realized what his purpose was in life, and he
Yeah,
said,
I think that's
"I do more of this. I can't stop here. I have to keep helping people." And I said, wow, if we all realized
enough.
that it feels so good to help others and to just care about people. It
Yes.
shouldn't take something like war or,
Nope.
some kind
Agreed.
of like tornado or like
Yep.
something to like
Disaster.
some
Yep.
tragedy,
Yep.
disaster to like actually for us to instinctually kick in that feeling of like wanting to help. It should just be natural. We should just
Yeah.
want to do that all the time because we love people, because
Yep.
of
Yeah.
love. And I do think that if we all really were able to, I was able to like somehow like give them all a pill or
Magic
something that
wand.
we magically a wand
Fairy dust.
clicked,
I used to have.
change the world.
It's so
That's
funny you
great.
say
Yeah,
that, because
no,
what came
so
to my
true.
mind is it's some meditation I did many, many, many years ago. And I actually did it with a group of people, and I took them through it, where you're on a carpet and you're just going on this carpet ride throughout the world. And what you're doing, you're just sprinkling this golden dust of love.
Yeah.
I would love it. I would
You know,
love to do
yeah,
that.
and it's great because you remind everybody that it doesn't take a lot either to just
No,
love somebody. I mean, it
it
really does.
doesn't.
You could be opening a door for someone that's older, or
It's so
saying
true.
hello,
Or
Yeah,
helping them
sometimes
cross the
smile.
street.
or
Helping
smile.
a
Right.
smile can go a
Yes.
long
Yes.
way here.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm not in a zone or I'm just like being more alert and I notice somebody just needs a smile and I do, it changes their day,
Yeah.
And sometimes you're right, it's just the littlest thing. And
Yeah.
it does feel good. Don't you get that like love bomb
Oh,
in
I
your
love
heart,
it.
you
I
know?
absolutely.
love it. And I wish, and I pray for that each and every day because the world is so not there.
And you know, it's
No.
funny.
It just,
It's so
I
true.
remember when growing up as a kid, that's the way it was, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
That's the
I
way it
know.
was. So hopefully, like we said, we could be
And you
the
know what? I
change.
think also a
Yes.
lot of people are in their own little world. So if you're
Yeah.
walking and you smile, or you even say good morning, they
Mhm.
look at you like they're shocked.
Yes.
Instead of like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Or you go to another place, another city or town, and people are so friendly, like North Carolina. They're so
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, ma'am.
Yeah,
How are
man.
you?
It's
It's so
true.
true.
It's a different.
It
It's
is.
so
It's very
nice.
different. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Totally
very
different.
different.
It is. It really is.
It
But we
really is.
know, and
It's
we could
true.
bring it to the forefront.
Absolutely.
That's
And
right.
Bring
each
the
of us to do
bring
that.
the light, bring the love. We change the vibration.
That's right. Be the
Yeah.
change that you want to see, and then it will have a ripple effect, right? Because
Correct.
everything is energy. And
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that is for
Mhm.
sure.
So we are
Oh,
so
yeah.
grateful that you came
I love
tonight
you. I am so happy. I really am that
to
I
share
got to
with
know
us.
you even more.
Yes.
Because we didn't
Aw,
know, and we now know a little bit more about you.
Yeah,
So
it's such a
great.
pleasure. Now, how
It
do
was a
people get
pleasure.
a hold
Yes.
of you?
how do people
Yeah,
get a
of
hold of
course.
you?
They can find me online. You can follow me on social media at styled, STYLED, sharp, SHARP. So sharp is my last name, or my website. It's styledsharp.com. So yeah, find me there.
Awesome.
I
Well,
love
we
it.
thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
Thank
much.
You're
you.
doing great work
You
in the
are.
world. Keep it going, and
Thank
know
you.
how excited we are just to know who you are.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
You're
You
welcome.
bet. And so, in closing,
Mhm.
I always say this: love is the beauty of the soul.
Ah, so
Go ahead,
nice.
breathe that in. It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, Miss Tavia, we will send you off in a lot of love.
Yes.
Thank
And we'll see
you.
you very, very soon.